Hello, good morning, good day. I would like to read to you one of my favorite poems by the Sufi poet Hafiz and Sufi mystic and poet Hafiz. It's called Tired of Speaking Sweetly. Love wants to reach out and manhandle us and break all our teacup talk of God. If you had the courage and could give the beloved his choice, some nights he would just drag you around the room by your hair, ripping from your grip all those toys in the world that bring you no joy. Love sometimes gets tired of speaking sweetly and wants to rip to shreds all your erroneous notions of truth that make you fight within yourself, dear one, and with others, causing the world to weep on too many fine days. God wants to manhandle us, lock us inside of a tiny room with himself and practice his dropkick. The beloved sometimes wants to do us a great favor, hold us upside down and shake all the nonsense out. But when we hear he is in such a playful, drunken mood, most everyone I know quickly packs their bags and hightails it out of town. So good. I think and feel that this poem describes spiritual awakening in such a profound way. One, it brings us face to face with what's really moving through us at all times. And, you know, I know, and I speak for myself because I've had this line of thinking that I am the one in control of my healing. You know, taking your power back means taking back control of life, of perception, of all these things. And that in itself is an illusion. And it is God that is moving through us. It is unconditional love. It's almost like before we allow God to submit us or manhandle us or drop kick us in the face, it's like there's a dam, and being drop kicked is like breaks the dam. It sends all of everything that we've been holding back and holding in, it allows it to flow. And that is why at the end, but when people hear he is in such a playful, drunken mood, most everyone I know quickly packs their bags and hightails it out of town because we don't want to feel. Most people don't want to feel. We are somehow afraid, for whatever reasons, of feeling our loneliness, our sorrow, our deep grief and rage at the state of the world that doesn't feel right, but we keep pushing along and suppressing because the world can't handle that. Well, my friends, we are at a time where the world and God is screaming at us to feel. And it feels as if we were to just speak the words, whatever words serve. In my mind right now, what's coming is a tried and true statement of whatever it takes. Anytime I've been in like dire straits in my life and not just like yearning for a change, everything has felt really hard and something needs to break, but I can't break it for whatever reason. I've prayed, take this from me, whatever it takes. Give me some blah, 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 whatever it takes. And I mean, it's a big fucking statement, but it has always served the deepest love in my life. Because it's what this poem is speaking about, which is being in like a sublime submission with God. And I mean, first we have to kind of scrub clean our view of what God is. This is not God from a religious standpoint. This is God, the creator of the universe. This is the energy of the Father. I would include the Mother as well. I think God, if God is everything, God holds all the polarities as no polarity. It's all just whole and true and full. And it's love like we've never known. It's love like it's interesting. That dam that we built, it's like a dam preventing us from love. Whatever fears we have of the feelings that occur if we, end a relationship, or we quit the job, or we do all the things that, we sometimes get afraid to do because we're afraid of the change. 555 on my clock. We're afraid of the change it'll bring. We're afraid maybe we're not capable of handling it. But God does not give us anything that we cannot handle. And that is also what this poem is saying. You can handle getting the shit kicked out of you by love. By love. Not little egoic self-love. This human version of love we've created to uphold our society and the fucking false standard of everything. It's not love based on separation. It is love based on the goodness of the all of everything. And love wants to move through you. Love wants to get into your body and shake it. Shake apart, crackle apart all the parts of yourself that don't work, that don't serve, that don't bring you joy. He would, if you had the courage and could give the beloved his choice, some nights he would just drag you around the room by your hair, ripping from your grip all those toys in the world that bring you no joy. Love sometimes gets tired of speaking sweetly and wants to rip to shreds all your erroneous notions of truth that make you fight within yourself, dear one, and with others, causing the world to weep on too many fine days. He speaks so beautifully to the energy of separation, being separated from God, being separated from love, denying love in our systems. Unconditional love. Unconditional, regardless of anything, everything. Unconditional love. And it points to this idea of separation because, love sometimes gets tired of speaking sweetly. It shows the different faces of love that go beyond just the light and fluffy, let's pretend everything's good kind of vibe. Love can be ferocious. Think of the mama bear protecting her cubs. That is love. She would destroy anything in her way. That is love. Think of Kali Ma, fucking ego slayer, right? She goes into the battlefield and she will fucking cut the head off of every demon that is there. She has the ferocity and the love to fight and to get bloody and disgusting for love. And that's kind of what this poem asks us, is to get a little bloodied up, to get a little fucked up for love, for the sake of love, for the sake of cracking open to a new way of perceiving love, experiencing love, and realizing that love is what is flowing through every single experience we have. It's just sometimes we need like a kick to the face in order to realize that something wasn't as loving as it could be. Love has so many flavors. It's every flavor of every experience you could think of. We just choose to separate love and suffering as if suffering is void of love. But what if our suffering was love? From a wider perspective, all the suffering on the planet, it's occurring because souls chose to experience that. You know, we are, you know, one micro fractal of the entirety of God, which I believe we hold that God spark in us. We are, you know, the Big Bang continued. We are still that energy of creation moving. We're just in this physical form, in this weird ass reality that we've created ourselves because we believed ourselves to be separate from God. And so anyway, it's a whole other conversation. But it speaks to that the way in which we separate suffering. Yes, that's what I was saying. God is wanting to experience everything. That's the whole point of all of this experience. And God does not have our tiny little egoic selves as his perspective, as the perspective at all. It's so much larger and so much more than we could ever perceive with our minds. Yeah, he wants to rip to shreds all your erroneous notions of truth that make you fight within yourself, dear one, and with others. And we would not see fighting outside of ourselves if there wasn't fighting happening within self. Still, you know, so much is occurring in the world and it looks pretty bleak out there. And I know a lot of us are feeling like, well, what can I do? I can't do anything. You feel quite powerless, but it's not true. This poem, this is what you can do. You can surrender to the reckoning that God has for you. You can turn the lens inward and see where the fighting and the battling and the warring is happening inside of you. That is the way to ultimately change the warring outside of ourselves. The more people that do this, that break through, that allow God to fuck them up and bloody their noses and, you know, just surrender, sublime surrender, sublime submitting to this energy of unconditional love. That is what will ultimately stop all of the warring that we're seeing. It will bring peace eventually, but it's like I have trees that I'm planting, a little hazelnut tree and a cherry tree, and right now they're like teeny tiny little guys. They're actually, the hazelnut's quite tall, but those trees are being planted, or just were planted, and I don't know, the idea is for the future, for my own children, for my own family sustenance, an ability to create. That's what that was planted for. You plant the tree. That's what this energy of being manhandled by God, allowing him to shake all the nonsense out, all of the egoic nonsense that serves the old world, that serves the old ways of being, which, I mean, obviously many of us are very tired of. But in order, what I was saying to finish my sentence, or my thought, is that we're planting a tree, we're planting seeds for a plant that we may never see in its full bloom. We may never see in our lifetimes full peace on earth. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll see little pieces of it. Maybe it'll be full blown. Who knows? No one knows. We don't know yet. But what I do know is that the more that I have personally reckoned with God and allowed myself the enough humility to be fucked up by unconditional love and realize and just take a really good clear look at myself in the mirror, the more peace I feel in my life. My life is by no means perfect or this like dream life as of yet that I want, that I am dreaming in, but I navigate the world through a lot more peace. And to me, like, this poem was a big seeding for me to be in this place now. of feeling more peace. And it is each of us individually in our own way surrendering to this grace and this love that will change the fucking world. I know that in my heart of hearts, like I know nothing else. Like it is a deep truth within me. And I've seen it at play. But I think something that we struggle with as humans is needing it to be an instantaneous experience. And I mean, in one sense, when you're locked inside of a room with God and you are getting beat up by this energy, or at least not even you, not the true you, the untrue you is getting beat up by God. It is an instantaneous shift. It just, in this physical 3D plane, it takes some time to see. And we have to get real right with this idea of not actually being able to eat the fruit of our labor. Maybe we will, but that's not the point. It's not actually really about us. And I think that's another thing we get kind of wrong, is we make it very, almost too personal. And we have a level of attachment to the outcome that can be harmful. But anyway, the end of this poem, we hear he's in such a playful, drunken mood. Most everyone I know quickly packs their bags and hightails it out of town. People don't like to feel. People don't want to feel the things that they know they're avoiding. They may subconsciously be avoiding it, but they don't want to feel that. And that's the other thing that I love about this poem, is the way that it talks about love in its wholeness, in all of its flavors. All of its flavors. And if the word God doesn't work for you, use something else. But please, 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 please don't use universe. if you want. I mean, it's your choice. But when we are worshiping or, claiming the universe to be God, we are worshiping and honoring the creation, not the creator. So if God doesn't work, find another word. But using universe as a replacement is keeping us stuck in this loop that we've been in for thousands and thousands of years. Another beautiful, not beautiful, another little bit of fuckery from the archontic forces that have infiltrated the spiritual community. Anyway, love sometimes gets tired of speaking sweetly, but it does not make it not loving just because it's uncomfortable and we don't like it. The little human self that is just like we can love and have so much understanding and compassion for, it is not, we don't want that to be leading us forward. We want deeper soul, God spark. Even just like, I have this practice of literally giving everything over to God. Everything. That doesn't mean I don't have dreams or desires. Desires aren't the devil that the New Age community makes it seem. But it's letting go of the attachment of how it turns out. Even like if you're in a space where you really are at a limit, you're done, and you need to be done, call in God and ask him to fuck you up for the highest and best, for unconditional love. Because this thing at the end where people can hightail it out of town, you can run, but we are in a time where you can no longer hide. You will face your reckoning one way or another. It's more just it'll just be harder if you're resisting and unwilling to be a part of the process. Tired of speaking sweetly. It's just love. It's all just love. It's all love. the most difficult parts of your life. I know that's a hard one to accept, but it's fucking true. It's all love. We've just been distracted and directed in a way that has helped us to deny that truth within us. But it's no longer able to be denied. God is here and he's ready to fuck shit up with love. I love you.